The winter winds of Ashbourne Manor carried secrets, old ones, buried ones, and the kind that shaped destinies. In the crumbling ruins of the Hawthorne estate, where ivy gripped stone walls like desperate fingers, lived the forgotten daughter of a once noble family, Evelyn Hawthorne. She did not look like a girl destined for a crown. Her gowns were threadbare. Her hands bore the proof of years of labor, lifting buckets, mending clothes, stoking fires when the world slept. And at 19, she had become mother, sister, protector, and shield to the two little girls who clung to her like the only warmth left in England. Life had not been kind. When their father died drowning in debt, and their stepmother fled with the last of their fortune, the Hawthorne girls became ghosts at the edge of society. No invitations. No alliances. No prospects. And yet, Evelyn endured. Because she must. Because her sisters depended on her. Because the world does not permit fragile girls to survive. Miles away, the grand halls of Ravencrest Palace glittered with chandeliers and nobles whose laughter dripped with champagne and arrogance. There, the wealthiest duke in England, Damien Blackwell, Duke of Ravensshire, was a man whispered about in salons and corridors alike. Powerful. Untouchable. Dangerous. And certainly not a man who knelt for anyone. Or so the stories claimed. Damien had never cared for society. Not the balls, not the politics, not the marriage market that threw daughters at him like desperate offerings. His estate ran like a kingdom, his finances rivaled the crown, and his influence stretched from London to Scotland. But even kings bleed. For months he had searched for something, or someone, that had gone missing. His investigations led him to the quiet outskirts of Ashbourne. To a name long forgotten. To Hawthorne. Evelyn tightened the shawl around her sisters as they huddled near the fire. Snowstorm winds rattled the shutters of their tiny cottage, one barely standing after decades of neglect. "Evie," whispered little Clara, her dark curls trembling with cold, "will we eat tomorrow?" Evelyn smiled, though her own stomach ached with hunger. "Yes, my darling. I promise." Promises were all she had left. Until the knock came. A deep, thunderous sound that echoed through the cottage. She froze, because no one visited. No one remembered the Hawthornes. She opened the door to find a tall man cloaked in black, snow catching in his dark hair. His eyes, striking gray, swept over her, over the cottage, over the sisters peeking from behind her skirt. For a moment, he said nothing. Then, "Miss Evelyn Hawthorne?" His voice was smooth, commanding. "Yes," she whispered, gripping the door nervously. "I need to speak with you." I don't have anything left to give," she said quickly. "No money. No valuables. Nothing to be taken." Something flickered in the man's eyes. Hurt, perhaps. Or recognition. "I did not come to take," he said quietly. "I came to return something stolen." Before she could ask, Clara and Lilia rushed forward with innocent curiosity. "Evie, who is he? Is he a knight? Is he here to help us?" Damien lowered himself slightly to meet their eyes. Something in him softened. "I suppose," he said gently, "I could be." Evelyn's breath caught. A duke kneeling, not in proposal, but in humility. Before two poor orphans who had nothing to offer him except trust. Damien entered cautiously, removing his gloves, mindful of the fragile world he was stepping into. "Forgive my intrusion," he began. "But I have information about your father." Evelyn stiffened. "My father died owing half of England. If you've come for payment." "No," his jaw tightened. "Your father was murdered." The room froze. "Murdered?" Evelyn whisper-choked. But they told us." "I know what they told you," Damien interrupted softly. "I know the lies your stepmother spread. I know how she fled with your inheritance, and how she forged documents to claim you were destitute. Evelyn's vision blurred. Years of grief and rage coiled within her chest. Damien reached into his coat and placed something on the table. A crest. A signet ring. Her father's. Cold metal that still held his warmth. Evelyn's trembling fingers traced it. Tears slid down her cheeks. He tried to send this to you before he died, Damien said. But it never reached you. Why? She choked. Why are you telling me this? Because your father served my family for decades. He saved my life once. I owe him a debt. He looked at her, not like a forgotten daughter, not like a pauper. Like someone worth honoring. And because, he added quietly, you deserve to know the truth. Days turned into weeks, and Damien returned, again and again. He brought food, blankets, medicine. He repaired their roof. He taught the girls to read, to laugh, to dream again. He kept his distance at first. A duke did not mix with ruined nobility. But Damien found himself drawn to Evelyn's strength. To the fire in her eyes. To the way she never once asked for help, even when she desperately needed it. She fascinated him. And he softened her. But rumors spread. A duke visiting a forgotten girl. Impossible, scandalous, delicious gossip. One night, Evelyn confronted him beneath the moonlight. Why do you keep coming back? She demanded. You are a duke. And we are nothing. He stepped closer. You are everything your father said you would be, he murmured. Brave. Loyal. Fiercely loving. She swallowed hard. You don't owe us anything, she whispered. Perhaps not, he said. But I find myself wanting to. He hesitated, then reached for her hand. Evelyn Hawthorne, let me help you. She looked into his eyes, gray, sincere, burning. And for the first time in years, she let herself hope. Word reached London that the Duke of Ravensshire was seen buying ribbons for a child with dark curls. For a girl who lived in a broken manor. Scandal erupted. Lady Beatrice, the woman society expected him to marry, stormed into Ravencrest Palace. You ruin yourself, she hissed. For a beggar girl? Damien's cold smile was sharper than any blade. She is worth more than every diamond on your neck. But the attacks grew. Gossip columns mocked Evelyn. Noble blood, but no fortune. The girl who spellbound a duke with pity. Evelyn broke the moment she read the papers. I cannot be the reason your name is dragged through mud, she told Damien, voice shaking. Your world will never accept me. I don't need their acceptance, he countered. But I do, she whispered. For my sister's sake. It was the first time he looked afraid. Are you dismissing me? Her lips trembled. Her heart shattered. I am protecting you. She stepped back, eyes full of tears. Goodbye, Damien. For the first time in his life, Damien felt powerless. The wealthiest duke in England, brought to his knees by a girl who thought herself unworthy. He left society. He left London. He went to the Hawthorne estate. And when Evelyn opened the door, he did the unthinkable. He knelt, the Duke of Ravensshire, feared and revered, knelt in the snow before the forgotten daughter. Evelyn gasped. Her sisters stared wide-eyed. Damien looked up at her, voice raw. I do not care for titles, he said. Or wealth. Or the gossip of people who don't know the meaning of honor. He took her shaking hands in his. I kneel because I choose you, Evelyn Hawthorne, not as charity, not from obligation, but because you have become the center of my world. Tears streamed down her face. My sisters, she whispered. Will live as princesses, he said. Your family will have a home again. A future. A life without fear.